Welcome back to Hidden Stories. We're so glad you've returned. If you've ever felt the pressure to be someone you're not, or struggled with comparing yourself to others, today's message is especially for you. We'll explore how embracing who God truly made you to be, not who the world expects, can bring peace, confidence, and purpose to your life. Stick around, because you are about to be encouraged, reminded of God's love, and inspired to walk boldly in truth. Sometimes we try to become someone we were never meant to be. Sometimes we dress, speak, and act in ways that don't reflect who we truly are, all because we want acceptance, validation, or a feeling of importance. But whenever we choose an identity built on pressure and appearance, our hearts quietly sink into confusion. And eventually, brokenness. Why do I feel so empty? Even when I look like this? Everyone thinks I've got it all together. But deep down, I feel like I'm pretending. And I'm tired of pretending.
Hey, Sarah. You okay? I've been calling your name for a while. You've been standing there for almost 10 minutes. You look distracted.
Oh, yeah. I'm fine. Just thinking.
You don't look fine. You look like someone carrying the whole world on her shoulders. Is something wrong?
No, Mark. Nothing's wrong. I just want to look perfect today. That's all.
Perfect for who? For yourself? Or for people who barely know you?
I don't know anymore. When a person feels like they must become someone else to be loved, their heart begins to drift from truth. And when truth is hidden for too long, pain becomes unavoidable. This is Sarah's story, a journey of identity, deception, truth, and healing. A story that reminds us that God never blesses who we pretend to be, only who we truly are. Sarah. Over here. I was actually waiting to talk to you. I saw how everyone looked at you when you walked in, your outfit, your confidence, the way you held your chin up. Trust me, that's how you win in this place. In this office, people don't really care about who you truly are. They care about the image you show them. If you want respect here, if you want people to take you seriously, sometimes you have to act more confident than you actually feel. People admire someone who seems untouchable. Someone who looks like they always know what they're doing. Yeah. I've noticed that too. It's like everyone here is wearing some kind of mask. Everyone tries so hard to appear stronger, smarter, or more important than they really are. And honestly, I've been thinking maybe I should do the same. Maybe if I pretend long enough, I'll finally become the person I wish I was. Exactly. That's the spirit. Nobody needs to know your doubts or fears. Those things make people look weak. And weakness? Weakness gets ignored in places like this. But doesn't pretending get exhausting? I mean, sometimes I look in the mirror and I barely recognize myself. I feel like I'm living a life that doesn't belong to me. Like I'm trying to measure up to something that keeps moving farther away. Look, Sarah, life is about climbing, about getting ahead. And if becoming a stronger, louder, more polished version of yourself is what it takes to get noticed, then so be it. Everybody does it. You don't have to overthink it. I just don't want to lose who I am in the process. You're not losing yourself. You're improving yourself. Besides, people don't respect honesty or vulnerability. They respect power. And you? You have the potential to be the most powerful woman in this office. If you can just hide your real feelings better. I guess. Maybe I do need to try that. Maybe I need to act braver than I feel. Maybe I need to look like someone who has it all under control. Even when I don't. There you go. Walk like nothing scares you. Talk like you always know the right answer. And dress like you're already at the top. People will treat you differently. Trust me. Sometimes the pressure to impress pulls us away from who God made us to be. The world teaches us to pretend. But God calls us to live in truth. And whenever truth is buried under performance, the heart begins to crack, quietly, silently, one small lie at a time.
Hey, Sarah. Mind if I sit here?
Oh, David. Sure, go ahead. You can sit.
You seem different today. Not just tired, but distracted. It's like you're carrying something around in your mind. Something heavy.
Oh, it's nothing. Just a long day. Work, deadlines, pressure, you know how it is.
I do. But that's not what I'm seeing. I know the difference between someone who's tired and someone who's trying to act like someone they're not. And today, you look like you're trying very hard to be someone else.
Maybe I am. Maybe I just want people to see me as important. As someone who belongs here. As someone who isn't always overlooked.
Sarah, everyone wants to feel important. Everyone wants to feel valued, appreciated, and respected. But trying to build that importance on people's opinions is like trying to build a house on sand. It shifts. It breaks. And it leaves you even more lost than before.
But what if people only respect the version of you that looks confident, the version that looks wealthy or strong or perfect? What if they only pay attention when you pretend? Sometimes it feels like the real me isn't enough.
Sarah, listen to me. True worth does not come from clothes, or attitude, or how loudly you speak. True worth doesn't come from how many people look at you when you walk into a room. If you chase people's validation, you will always feel empty, because people change. Their opinions change. Their attention shifts. But God never shifts. He never changes. And He doesn't give worth based on appearance or performance. He gives worth based on identity, the identity He created in you. And that identity is more solid, more meaningful, and more powerful than any image you try to copy.
David, what if I don't even know who I really am anymore? What if pretending has become easier than being myself?
Then that's a sign you've been carrying this weight alone for too long. You don't have to figure it out in one day. But you can start by being honest with yourself and with God. He sees the real you, even the parts you hide from everyone else. And guess what? He still calls you valuable. He still calls you enough.
I wish it were that simple.
It is not always simple. But it's always true. People might love your performance, but God loves your heart. No mask, no act, no pretending, just you.
When truth is spoken with love, it has the power to crack open even the strongest walls of pretense. But acceptance doesn't happen overnight. For Sarah, this was only the beginning of a deeper battle, the battle between appearance and authenticity. Remember what I told you earlier. Walk in like you own the place. Talk like everything you say is the truth. They won't question confidence. Trust me.
Alright, everyone, let's go over the progress updates for this week. Sarah, you said you had something important to share regarding the client project. Let's hear it.
Yes, absolutely. So, regarding the Johnson account, I took the initiative to handle most of the communication myself. I drafted the proposal, refined the strategy outline, and even created the core concept behind the visual presentation that we submitted last week. And I'm glad to say the client responded positively because of those improvements. See? They're buying it. This is exactly what I meant. Just keep going, sound confident, and nobody will question you. I also reached out to the client personally to clarify a few details they were uncertain about. They appreciated the clarity and said they were impressed with our direction. So overall, I would say I significantly strengthened our connection with them this week. Sorry, Sarah, but I'm a little confused.
Linda, is there a concern?
Well, yes. I thought I handled the primary communication with the Johnson team. I was the one who spoke with them several times this week. And from what I remember, the initial proposal wasn't drafted by Sarah, it was drafted by the content team, and I reviewed it before sending it out. And the client actually mentioned they were still waiting for clarification on some points. They didn't say anything about being impressed with the new direction. So, I'm just trying to understand what part of this Sarah handled personally, because what she described doesn't match the project notes or the communication log. Don't panic. Just keep the act going. People doubt things all the time. Stay calm and push through, it'll convince them. Oh, well. I meant that I helped with those things. Not necessarily. Did them all by myself. You know, teamwork and all that. But that's not what you said. You specifically claimed you drafted the proposal, refined the strategy, and personally strengthened the client connection. That's very different from assisting.
Sarah, is Linda correct? We need clarity, not confusion. Honesty is important, especially in team progress meetings.
I was just trying to highlight my involvement. Maybe I overstated some parts. Overstated, or misrepresented? Don't fold now, Sarah. Just stand your ground. I didn't mean to mislead anyone. I just wanted to be seen as someone who contributes. Someone who matters.
Sarah, nobody expects you to pretend or exaggerate your work. We value honesty more than performance. If something is overwhelming or unclear, you can always ask for support, but misrepresenting your involvement creates confusion, and it affects the whole team.
When a person tries to build their worth on lies, the truth eventually rises, not to shame them, but to reveal what needs healing. Sarah's desire to feel important pushed her into a corner she never intended to stand in. And now, the consequences were beginning to unfold. Everyone looks so happy. So confident. So successful. Why do I feel like I'm always behind? Why does it feel like everyone else is living a life I can't catch up to? Look at her. She's always achieving something great. And here I am, pretending, hoping no one notices I don't have it all together. Is this what it takes to be respected? To be loved? To be seen? When a person spends so much time comparing themselves to others, they begin to question their own identity. And comparison is a thief of joy, peace, confidence, and clarity. Pretending to be someone you're not doesn't just wear you out physically, it drains your spirit. It creates stress that feels unbearable, anxiety that steals your sleep, and insecurity that eats away at your heart. But the greatest danger of pretending is the distance it creates between you and God. You cannot approach Him with masks or performances. He sees beyond every act, into the real you, the hurting you, the you who feels lost in the noise of this world. And even though she didn't realize it yet, every lie she told to fit in, every comparison she made, and every false identity she embraced took her one step farther from the peace her soul desperately needed. Sarah's heart was crying for truth. But she was still caught in the trap of image and approval. And until the truth came to light, the battle inside her would continue to grow.
Sarah. Hey. I wasn't expecting to see you here this early. You look like you've been carrying the world on your shoulders.
I guess. I just needed air. My mind hasn't rested since yesterday. I can't stop thinking about the meeting, the embarrassment, The way everyone looked at me. It feels like every lie I've told. Every time I pretended. It all came crashing down at once.
Sarah. When you live a lie, even a small lie, it doesn't stay small. It grows. It spreads. And eventually, it consumes parts of your life you never intended it to touch. I've seen people lose friendships, jobs, trust. Even their sense of self because they spent so much time pretending to be someone they weren't. Lies feel harmless at first, almost innocent. But they always come with a cost. And sometimes, that cost is deeper than we expect.
David, I know. I know I messed up. I know I shouldn't have exaggerated anything. But I just wanted to fit in. To feel like I mattered. To feel important, even for a moment. Do you know what it's like to walk into a room and feel invisible? To feel like everyone else shines, and you're just there?
Sarah. Of course I do. More people feel that way than you think. But pretending won't fix that emptiness. Pretending only digs the hole deeper. God already made you important, Sarah. Before you ever walked into that office. Before you ever dressed up or tried to impress anyone. He had already placed worth inside you. And it's a worth that doesn't fade when people stop applauding her when mistakes are exposed.
But it's hard to believe that. When everyone seems so confident, so perfect. I keep thinking. Maybe if I become someone else, I'll finally feel like I belong.
That's the trick the world plays on all of us, making us think we need to become someone else to be accepted. But the truth is this, God never blesses who you pretend to be. He blesses who you truly are. And the moment you stop pretending is the moment you give Him space to heal you, guide you, and remind you of your real identity.
So, you're saying I don't need to fight to be important?
You don't need to fight at all. You just need to be honest, with yourself, with others, and with God. Because the moment you embrace who you truly are, you'll realize you were never invisible. You were simply looking for validation in the wrong places.
Sometimes the truth we need comes through a gentle voice, a reminder that worth is not earned through performance, but given by the one who created us. Sarah, listen. This job is perfect for you. Better pay, better position, better everything. But you and I both know that if you submit your resume the way it is right now, they'll overlook you again. You need to stand out, and sometimes standing out means shaping your story a little differently. Rachel. I don't know. I'm already dealing with the mistake I made at the meeting yesterday. I don't want to dig myself into another hole. I don't want to lie again. It's like every time I do, I feel worse about myself. Oh, come on, Sarah. You're overthinking this. Everybody exaggerates their resume, literally everybody. You think those managers sit around double-checking every single detail? Please. They see confidence, experience, and boldness, that's what impresses them. And that's what you need to show. But it feels wrong. I don't want to build another lie. I'm tired, Rachel. Tired of pretending. Tired of acting like someone who has everything figured out when I don't. It's exhausting. Sarah, listen to me carefully. You are better than the version of yourself you keep presenting. You have potential, you just need to enhance it a bit on paper so people can finally see it. You're not lying. You're just stretching the truth enough to open doors. And once the door is open, you'll prove yourself anyway. I don't know if stretching the truth is the same as telling the truth. What if they ask for proof? What if I get caught? What if this becomes another moment I regret? Sarah, no one is going to catch you. Do you know how many people claim they led projects they barely contributed to? Or say they mastered skills they only learned on YouTube? This is normal. Normal. You are worrying about something that literally no one else worries about. But my conscience worries about it. I feel guilty even thinking about adding things I didn't do. Yesterday already proved that pretending only leads to embarrassment. What if this gets? Look. You keep saying you want to feel important, right? You want to be respected, valued, noticed. Then stop being scared of taking bold steps. Nobody becomes successful by telling the full truth all the time. Confidence opens doors. Image opens doors. Just do it, Sarah. Just this once. It's not a crime. It's not even a big lie. It's just strategy. Okay. Maybe just this once. Maybe it won't hurt. Maybe. It's not as big as I'm making it. That's the spirit. Now add that project leadership role and say you coordinated the team. Trust me, it's going to make your resume look powerful. And with one decision, a shaky choice whispered by insecurity and fueled by pressure, Sarah stepped deeper into a dangerous cycle. Not realizing that every small lie grows. And every attempt to feel important outside of God's truth leads farther away from peace.
Sarah, I've been reviewing some of the tasks you were assigned this week. I want to be honest with you, several of the responsibilities you said you were comfortable handling seem to be causing you significant difficulty. I'm concerned about your qualifications, not because I want to criticize you, but because I need to understand what's happening. Our team relies on accuracy, confidence, and real expertise, and I'm noticing gaps that don't match what was listed on your resume.
I understand what you're saying. I've just been trying to adjust quickly. Maybe I'm just overwhelmed. I thought I could catch up as I went along. I didn't think it would be this difficult or this noticeable.
It's more than adjustment, Sarah. It looks like you're struggling with foundational tasks that someone with the experience you claimed should handle easily. When you arrived, we expected a level of proficiency that would help move certain projects forward immediately. Instead, we've had to slow down, reassess, and reassign work. This doesn't mean you can't grow, but it does raise questions. I need you to be honest with me, for your sake and for the team's sake.
I never wanted to disappoint anyone. I thought that if I didn't make myself look more capable, you wouldn't even consider me. I didn't realize how heavy the consequences would be.
This job isn't just about filling a seat, it's about being prepared for the responsibilities assigned. When someone misrepresents themselves, it doesn't just hurt them, it affects everyone connected to the work. You're a bright woman, Sarah. You speak well, you're eager to learn, and I've seen moments where you show real potential. But confidence has to be grounded in truth, not in exaggeration.
I'm sorry. I really am. I just wanted to be seen. I wanted people to believe in me, and I thought pretending would get me there faster. But now I feel ashamed. Anxious. Like the ground is breaking under my feet.
Mistakes can be corrected, but only when they're acknowledged honestly. What matters now is what you choose to do next. We can't move forward based on pretenses, Sarah. If you're willing to come clean and take responsibility, there may still be a path for you, one that's built on truth, not fear.
Lord, I don't even know where to begin. I feel like everything around me is collapsing because I tried to build it on something that wasn't real. I thought pretending would make my life easier. I thought acting confident, acting accomplished, acting important would finally make me feel valuable. But now I just feel lost. Lost in who I pretended to be and unsure of who I really am. Father, help me. Because I don't even know who I am anymore. I've disappointed myself, disappointed others, and I know I've grieved you. I've been trying so hard to fit into expectations that weren't even meant for me. I wanted validation so badly that I ignored your truth about me. I ignored who you say I am. And now the weight of all my pretending. It feels like a mountain on my chest. Lord, please help me. Please show me how to undo what I've done. Show me how to walk in honesty again. Show me how to be myself without fear. Without pretending. Without trying to impress anyone. God, I don't want to live like this anymore, hiding, pretending, bending the truth just so people will approve of me. I feel empty, Lord. Completely empty. And I realize now that no fake image, no false confidence, and no exaggerated resume can fill the hole in my heart. Only you can. Please. Restore me. Help me face the consequences with courage. Help me choose truth even if it hurts. Help me walk in the identity you gave me, not the one I tried to manufacture for myself. When we live in pretense, our soul cries for truth. The heart grows weary from keeping up the facade, and the spirit longs for the peace that only honesty before God can bring. In the quiet moments of surrender, truth begins its healing work.
Good morning, Sarah. I figured you might need some coffee. And maybe some company. You've been on my mind since yesterday, and I just wanted to check on you. You don't need to say anything if you're not ready, I just wanted you to know you're not alone.
Thank you, David. Really. I didn't sleep much. My mind just kept replaying everything I've done. Every exaggerated word. Every moment I tried to look more important. I feel like I've been carrying this heavy mask for so long that I almost forgot what my real face looks like. I wanted to be admired so badly.
Sarah, I hear you. And I understand that desire more than you think. The world puts so much pressure on us. Pressure to shine, to stand out, to impress, to seem like we have it all figured out. But the truth is, none of that determines your worth. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You don't need to pretend, elevate yourself, or perform for acceptance. God already made you unique for a reason, and your value comes from Him, not from people's applause.
It's just. When I looked around at everyone else, successful, confident, admired, I felt like I had to become someone else to belong. I thought that being myself wasn't enough. I didn't think people would respect me unless I appeared stronger, smarter, more accomplished. But all I've done is create chaos for myself.
Sarah, admiration fades. Think about it. People admire someone today and forget them tomorrow. What you gain through pretending never lasts because it isn't rooted in truth. But God's love, that's everlasting. It doesn't depend on performance. It doesn't require a perfect resume or flawless confidence. His love is your foundation, your identity, your strength. And that love doesn't change even when you mess up.
I want to believe that. I want to lay down the false version of myself, but it's scary. I've spent so long trying to impress people that being real feels vulnerable. Almost naked.
Vulnerability isn't weakness, Sarah, it's the beginning of healing. When you stop trying to be someone else, God finally has space to shape the real you. And trust me, the real you, the one He created, is far more beautiful than any persona you could ever create. You're not lost. You're just learning to find your way back to truth.
Thank you, David. I needed to hear that more than you know.
And I'm here for you. Not for the image you tried to create, but for you. The real Sarah.
Come in. Sarah, is everything okay? You look troubled.
There's something I need to talk to you about. Something I should have said from the beginning. I've been trying to complete the task you gave me, but the truth is, I can't. I don't have the experience I claimed to have. I exaggerated my resume, and I let the pressure to impress take over. I told myself I could catch up, but I can't. I'm so sorry.
Sarah, I appreciate your honesty now, but I have to admit I'm disappointed. The trust we place in a new employee is important, not just for the company but for the team that depends on accurate skills and integrity. When you presented yourself as qualified, we adjusted responsibilities based on what you said. This affects more than just you.
I know. I know it does. And I hate that I've caused trouble. I was insecure. Afraid that who I really was wouldn't be enough. I wanted to be seen as capable, respected, worthy. But pretending has done nothing but hurt everyone, including myself. I'm tired of living a lie.
I can see this is weighing on you. And I'm glad you finally told the truth. Taking responsibility is the first step in correcting a mistake. However, honesty doesn't erase the consequences. We have to address this appropriately. It will affect your role here.
I understand. And I'm ready to face whatever comes. Honestly, the moment I told you the truth, I felt a strange relief. Shame, yes. But also relief. I don't want to pretend anymore. I want to grow the right way, even if it means starting over and rebuilding trust piece by piece.
I can respect that. Growth doesn't begin with perfection, it begins with truth. I can't promise what the outcome will be, but I can promise that honesty gives you a better future than deception ever could. For now, I'd like you to step back from this project. We'll reassess your position and determine the next steps.
Thank you for even considering giving me another chance. I know I don't deserve it, but I appreciate your willingness to hear me out.
Everyone makes mistakes, Sarah. What matters is what they do afterward. Let's take this one step at a time.
Sarah, I heard you've been going through a lot lately. I didn't come to pry or to lecture you. I came because you're part of this family, and when one of us hurts, we all hurt. I wanted to check on you and hear your heart, without judgment, without pressure.
I feel like such a failure, Pastor. Everything is falling apart. I tried so hard to be someone I wasn't. To feel important. To look like I had it all together. But it all backfired. And now everyone knows. I just feel exposed. Embarrassed. Broken.
Sarah, feeling like you are what you're not will always lead to disappointment. Not because you're not valuable, but because you're trying to live outside the identity God gave you. When we spend our lives chasing people's validation, we lose sight of the truth that God already approves of us. You were never meant to build your worth on human perception. People change. Opinions change. Standards change. But God? His truth about you is unshakable.
But Pastor, what if people judge me? What if they look at me differently now? What if they never see me as trustworthy again? I don't know if I can handle that. I don't want to be reduced to my mistakes.
People might talk, Sarah. People might misunderstand. People might judge without knowing your heart. But none of that defines you. God's approval matters more than the world's. When He looks at you, He sees someone He created with purpose. Someone He loves deeply. Someone worth redeeming. And let me tell you something important. God never waits for perfection before He embraces us. He already sees you as valuable, forgiven, and worth shaping into something beautiful.
I want to believe that. I want to walk in that truth. But I'm scared. I don't know how to rebuild after this. I don't know how to face people.
You rebuild the same way you came to God, one honest step at a time. Healing doesn't happen overnight, but it begins the moment you stop hiding. And you've already taken that step by admitting the truth. Sarah, God is not disappointed in you. He is delighted that you finally came to Him with your real self. That's all He ever wanted. Let Him lead you from here. Let Him shape your identity. And trust that the people who truly matter will see the change God is creating in you, not the failure you're leaving behind.
Thank you, Pastor. I needed to hear that. I don't want to pretend anymore. I want to learn who I truly am in God's eyes.
And that, Sarah, is the beginning of freedom.
Lord, tonight feels different. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm finally letting go of the weight I've been carrying. These papers, these exaggerated resumes, these false stories, these images I created, none of them brought me peace. Instead, they trapped me in a life of fear, insecurity, and constant pretending. And now, tearing them apart feels like tearing away the lies I've been hiding behind. I thought these papers would make me valuable. I thought these exaggerations would open doors. But all they did was shut me out from who you truly made me to be. I chased the world's approval, trying to feel important, trying to look like someone who had everything under control. But I was only running further from the truth. And Lord, I'm tired. I'm tired of pretending. I'm tired of carrying a version of myself that isn't real. Tonight, I am asking, no, I am begging, help me walk in truth and not in pretension. Help me embrace who I really am. Help me find confidence in you, not in lies or false achievements. Teach me to build my future on honesty, humility, and faith. I don't want to be admired for something I'm not. I want to be accepted, loved, and guided for who you created me to be. Lord, renew my mind. Heal the parts of me that believed I wasn't enough. Replace every lie I told myself with your truth. Remind me that I don't need to compete, pretend, exaggerate, or impress. You formed me with purpose. You see me as precious. Your approval is the one that matters. And with you, I don't have to fear the truth, I can walk boldly in it. From this day forward, make me a woman of truth. Let honesty be my foundation. Let humility be my strength. And let your presence be my identity. Everyone, can I have a moment, please? There is something important I need to say, and I want to say it openly. I want to apologize, to all of you, for misleading you. When I joined this company, I wasn't honest about my experience. I exaggerated my abilities, because I was afraid. I thought that being myself wouldn't be enough. I let insecurity push me into choices I regret deeply. I understand that my actions affected the workflow, your trust, and the team dynamic. I'm not proud of any of it. I want you to know that I'm committed to rebuilding trust, even if it takes time. I've already spoken with the manager, and I'm willing to start from the bottom if that's what it takes. I'm learning that truth is worth far more than appearances. And I'm genuinely sorry for any pressure, confusion, or inconvenience my actions caused. Sarah, I didn't expect you to say all that. Honestly, I thought you'd keep acting like nothing happened. Most people would. But seeing you stand here, admitting everything so openly, I see now. You were stronger than I thought. It takes real courage to admit you messed up. I pushed you into some of those choices too. I told you to exaggerate, to act untouchable. I thought that was the only way to survive in this place. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe we both have some learning to do. Thank you, Rachel. And I'm sorry for dragging you into the consequences of my choices as well. I should have thought for myself instead of letting insecurity guide me. It means a lot that you're owning this, Sarah. We all make mistakes. What matters is how we move forward.
If you need help learning the ropes for the tasks, just let us know. We've all been new before.
Thank you. Truly. I'm ready to start again, this time with honesty, humility, and a willingness to learn. If you're starting fresh, maybe I should too. We can do better together.
Alright, team. Before we assign tasks for this week, does anyone have input on the new client proposal? Sarah, would you like to share your thoughts?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to contribute. I've been reviewing the proposal, and while I may not have advanced technical experience yet, I do have strong organizational skills and a good eye for structure. I noticed a few areas where we can improve clarity in the communication outline. For example, the client's main objectives are scattered throughout the proposal. If we rearrange the content so that their 3 key goals are highlighted in the introduction, it will give the rest of the document more flow and direction. I also drafted a simplified version of the timeline that could help the team stay on track. It may not be perfect, but it reflects what I can do well right now. This is actually very helpful, Sarah. You've broken things down in a way that makes them easier to understand. I didn't even notice some of those structural issues.
Yes, and that revised timeline is clearer and more realistic than the one we had. This is good work, really good.
Thank you. I know I still have a lot to learn, and I'm committed to growing the right way, step by step. But I also want to contribute in areas where I'm truly capable. I'm discovering that being honest about my strengths and weaknesses doesn't make me less valuable. It actually makes me stronger.
That's exactly the kind of authenticity and teamwork we need here. Well done, Sarah. Keep bringing your real skills to the table. Growth doesn't happen overnight, but your effort and honesty are already making a difference.
I will. Thank you for giving me the chance to start again. David, I don't even know how to begin. The last few days felt like a storm I created with my own fears, my own assumptions, and my own insecurities. I allowed myself to believe things that weren't true and to feel like I was someone God never said I was. But today, after everything you said, it's like a heavy curtain finally lifted from my heart. Thank you for reminding me who I really am. Thank you for speaking to me with patience, with love, and with truth. I needed that more than I realized.
Sarah, real friends don't just show up when things are easy or when everything feels perfect. Real friends show up in the middle of the confusion, in the middle of the hurt, and in the middle of the lies that try to bury us. I didn't speak to you today to prove anything or to win an argument. I spoke because I could see the battle you were fighting, one inside your mind and heart. And I know how it feels when the wrong voice gets louder than the right one. But truth always brings freedom. And you deserve to walk in that freedom every single day.
You know, I didn't realize how far I had drifted. I started believing that my worth depended on situations, on people, on how things looked on the outside. And when everything started to feel wrong, I kept convincing myself it was right. I thought my feelings were leading me, but they were misleading me. It took your honesty, your gentle honesty, to help me see clearly again.
You're stronger than you think. And you're not alone. Every one of us has moments where we follow the wrong voice, because it feels easier or comforting at the moment. But eventually, God uses people, conversations, and even painful moments to bring the truth back into focus. I'm just grateful He allowed me to be part of that for you.
I really appreciate you, David. Not just as a friend, but as someone who doesn't give up when things get complicated. I'm learning that true friendship isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about being real, even when the reality is messy. Thank you for not stepping away. Thank you for speaking life back into me.
That's what God wants us to do for one another. Lift each other up, remind each other of who we are in Him, and never let anyone drown in lies when we can pull them back to truth. I'm glad we're okay again, Sarah. And I'm glad you found your clarity.
I did. And I'm choosing to hold on to the truth this time. Not the feelings that misled me.
Hey Sarah, I see you got an early start. Everything looks so organized. You really took ownership of this project.
Yeah. I wanted to try something I could actually manage without feeling overwhelmed. I realized I've spent so much time doubting myself that I never gave myself a chance to grow. So I told myself, start small, Sarah. Start with something your hands and your heart can handle. And honestly, I'm enjoying this more than I thought I would.
That's the thing about growth. Sometimes it doesn't begin with huge responsibilities or big platforms. Sometimes it begins with a simple step, something small but meaningful. I'm really proud of you for taking that step. You didn't wait for someone to push you. You chose it.
For a long time, I believed I needed to be perfect before I could do anything. I thought confidence was something that magically appears once you finally become the person you want to be. But today, I'm learning confidence actually grows when you start doing the little things faithfully. This project, it's small, but it feels like a seed God is planting inside me.
You're right. Confidence doesn't come before action. It's built through action. Even this, preparing these care packages with sincerity and excellence, this is ministry. This is service. And heaven sees it. God sees it. And honestly, so do people around you.
Helen, the project coordinator, approaches cheerfully. Sarah, I just wanted to say how impressive your work has been today. I've been watching from a distance, and everything you've assembled looks neat, thoughtful, and well planned. You've brought such a calm, positive energy into the room. We appreciate you more than you know. Really? Thank you so much. I didn't expect anyone to notice. I just wanted to help without messing anything up. Oh, trust me, we noticed. And it's not just the work you're doing. It's the heart behind it. You're focused, you're intentional, and you treat every item like it matters. That's a gift, Sarah. Never downplay that. Wow. Thank you. Hearing that means a lot. I guess I'm finally beginning to understand that I don't have to be someone else or try to impress anyone. I can grow at my own pace, and God can still use me exactly where I am.
That's it. Growth isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. Sometimes it looks exactly like what you did today, showing up, doing your best, and letting the results speak for themselves.
And if you ever want to take on something bigger, we'll support you. But what you're doing right now? It's already making a difference. I think. For the first time in a long time. I actually believe that.
Sarah, I'm glad you stayed back for a moment. I could sense tonight that something deep is happening within you, something sincere, something honest. And I want you to know that's a beautiful thing. God works powerfully in hearts that are willing to be real.
I've been trying so hard to live truthfully these past few days, Pastor. And even though it hasn't been easy, I feel something different inside me. It's like a weight I didn't even know I was carrying has finally started to lift.
That's what happens when we step out of pretense and into authenticity. You see, Sarah, when we try to become someone we're not, when we exaggerate, hide, or pretend, we tie ourselves to a burden that God never asked us to carry. But when we surrender that false identity, something beautiful happens. God begins to restore the real person underneath.
I used to think that if I didn't make myself look impressive, people would overlook me. Or think I wasn't good enough. I convinced myself that pretending would protect me. But instead, it just separated me from truth, from peace, from who I was supposed to be. And even from God.
You're not alone in that. Many people fall into that trap. But Sarah, God doesn't bless the person we pretend to be. He blesses the person we truly are. He works through authenticity. Through honesty. Through that quiet, humble willingness to be seen, flaws and all. That's what opens the door for spiritual growth.
Pastor, I was so afraid of being judged. Afraid that people would see my weaknesses and walk away. But when everything fell apart and I had to face the truth, I realized the world didn't collapse. I didn't lose myself. I actually started finding myself. And for the first time, I don't feel like I'm hiding from God anymore.
That's the peace of God settling in. The peace that comes when you finally stop running. Sarah, authenticity isn't about exposing your failures, it's about allowing God's truth to breathe into your life. It's about letting Him shape who you're becoming instead of you trying to shape it through performance or image. When you choose honesty, you create space for God to work mightily.
That's exactly what I feel. Space. Space to breathe. Space to grow. Space to become who I really am without forcing anything.
And that is spiritual growth, Sarah. Not loud, not flashy, but steady, sincere growth that comes from a heart that finally says, Lord, this is me, take me as I am and mold me. When you walk in authenticity, you're walking in alignment with God's design for your life.
I want to stay on this path, Pastor. I want to keep growing, keep learning, keep being honest with God and with myself. I don't want to go back to pretending ever again.
Then stay close to God. Stay honest before Him. Stay teachable. Sarah, you don't need perfection to walk with Him. You only need willingness. And I can tell, you're willing. And because of that, God is already doing something new in you. Something strong. Something lasting.
For the first time, I feel like I'm becoming the person God always saw in me.
You are, Sarah. And the journey ahead will be even more beautiful because it's built on truth, not on illusion.
Thank you all for letting me share today. I want to be completely honest with you because that's the only way I know how to speak about what God has done in my life. For a long time, I tried to feel like someone I wasn't. I thought my value depended on what people thought about me, on how impressive I appeared to be, and on the image I worked so hard to maintain. I exaggerated my accomplishments, I pretended to be confident when I wasn't, and I built this version of myself that was designed to be admired. But it wasn't real. And the truth is, living that way nearly broke me. I started believing the wrong voice, the voice that said, "You're not enough. You're not impressive enough. You need to act bigger, better, stronger than you are." I chased admiration, approval, and respect from everyone around me. And in the process, I lost touch with who I really was. I felt anxious, exhausted, and constantly on edge. My soul was crying out for truth, and I didn't even realize it. But God reminded me in the middle of all that chaos who I truly am. He reminded me that my worth is not in how others see me, nor in what I can accomplish on my own. My true worth is in Him. And when I finally stopped pretending, when I finally confessed my mistakes, admitted my fears, and embraced who I really was, everything began to change. I felt freedom, I felt peace, and I felt strength that I never found chasing the approval of people. I want you to hear this: you don't need to be anyone but who God made you to be. You don't need to chase a version of yourself that feels safe or impressive. The world may not always understand it, and some people may judge you. But God's truth is enough. Your life has purpose. Your value is immeasurable. And when you start living from that place of truth, everything else begins to fall into alignment. Your relationships, your peace, your joy, they all become real, not forced. So please, if there is one thing I want you to take away from my story, it's this: don't chase the applause of the world. Don't pretend to be someone you're not. Walk in the truth, no matter how scary it feels. God sees you, God loves you, and God can do amazing things through the person you already are. That's the only approval you need. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I'm just a testimony that God's grace works, even when we stumble, even when we try to be someone we're not. He redeems, He restores, and He reminds us of our true worth every single day. Trying to be someone you're not may feel exciting at first, but it often leads to stress, mistakes, and distance from God. Here's the lesson: your true worth is not in appearances or approval from others. It is in who God created you to be. Embrace your gifts, walk in honesty, and trust God's plan. When you live authentically, you grow stronger, wiser, and more at peace. Remember, pretending may gain attention, but truth builds character and lasting blessings. Thank you for watching and spending this time with us. We hope this story has encouraged you to embrace who God created you to be and to walk in truth, not pretense. Remember, your value isn't measured by appearances or the opinions of others, but by God's love for you. Stay faithful, stay honest, and continue to trust His plan for your life. We're grateful you joined us today, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.